Hey Nathan, you know this, but over the last, let's say 20 or so years, headlights in cars have improved a lot.
Thank God.
Yes, but not every car, because this list is the top 5 best and top 5 worst cars with headlights based on the Insurance Institute of Highway Safety, and they do now rate headlights.
I'm really glad they do, and it's an important safety feature.
Yes, and you'll be surprised when we get to the top 5 worst cars with headlights, because there's a brand where almost across the board, all of their cars have bad headlights, believe it or not, and they're German. I'm giving you a clue.
Okay.
So let's talk about how the IIHS rate headlights. They say they're either good, acceptable, marginal, or poor, and that's based on the number of lux. 5 lux illumination. Lux is a unit of measure for headlights. So headlights that don't provide the illumination at a set distance are marked down. So on a straightaway, it's 500 feet.
Okay.
And on a curve, it's between 225 and 275 feet. Yep, so that's how they do it.
Okay, so define a curve. Does that mean that cars that have moving headlights would do better?
Yes, and that's, of course, one of the things we should talk about. Back in the day when we were young, all headlights were kind of rectangles, remember?
Or round.
Or round, yeah, that was like it. And then headlights became much more intricate, and you would think that this list would be kind of based on how much you spend on a car, but it's not, right? The amount of money you spend on a car does not necessarily mean that you get better headlights. And by the way, the IIHS also gave a credit for automatic headlights and marked down cars with excessive glare.
That's right. Now, isn't that high beam control with the automatic headlights as well?
Yes, that's also one of the things. So not only do we have cars now that, of course, turn headlights on and off, but we have different types of illumination, right? When we were young, a headlight cost like $15, right? And you get a little bulb.
Yeah, that's
now,
about it.
Now you've got these $1,400 Xeon headlights
or LEDs
or high intensity. So all that is taken into account. And just because you're spending, let's say, $1,400 on a headlight doesn't mean it's, really good. So on this list, how do the IIHS consider cars worst and best?
All right, well, worst cars have a poor rated headlight, and that's across the board, no matter what model. Best cars either have good headlights across the board or good and acceptable ratings.
Yeah, so what you're saying is if the car is bad, it's bad based not on like the top level SEL, right? But even if you get the bottom level S.
That's right. So it's the whole damn series of cars that they build.
All right, well, let's get to the top 5 best cars. Tie for number 5 was the Lexus ES350 and the Mercedes-Benz C-Class. The Lexus had good with premium triple beam LED headlight package and acceptable on the standard models. And the Mercedes was good with the adaptive high beam assist package and got high beam assist credit.
A high beam assist basically shuts down your high beams when a car is coming from the opposite direction. Am I correct?
You're exactly correct.
And so you still have your headlights on, but you're no longer blinding somebody. And having it with an auto mode, well, that does help prevent blinding people.
Yep, and so number 4, we've got the Toyota Camry, good on the hybrid XLE trim with adaptive lighting package, acceptable everywhere else. And funny thing is, once upon a time, the Camry was the best-selling car in America.
Yeah, well, it's still one of the best-selling cars in its class, but it's just not outselling crossovers right now.
Right, and today the RAV4 is the best-selling car in America, and we're not talking about crossovers or SUVs on this list. We're just talking about cars, sedans, coupes, and so that list will come later, but this is just cars. All right, number 3 is a brand new brand, dude.
That's right, and good for them.
It's the Genesis G90, good on all trims.
Congratulations, guys, you're doing it right.
You know why I think that is? I think that's because when car manufacturers design a car, they're working like 8 years out, right?
Sometimes.
And this test is relatively new. So a lot of these cars were designed before the actual test.
That is true. In fact, if you think about it, technology hasn't quite caught up to what the IIHS requires standard across the board. So in the next couple of years, you're going to see higher ratings for, I would imagine, just about every car company.
Yeah, and the Genesis G90, new brand new car. Yeah, so maybe they took that into account when they actually designed the car. Number 2, the Honda Insight, good on all 3 trims. Now, I like the Honda Insight. I'm just not a big fan of design.
Yeah, it's not that inspiring, but hey, good for them for having really good headlights. That's awesome.
Yeah, and the other thing about this list that I've noticed is the cooler the design, sometimes the worse the headlight. When the headlights are shaped into like let's say laser saber, designs, right?
Or the Nike symbol or a hammer or whatever.
Yeah, like Thor's hammer or something. It doesn't do well for actual illumination.
No.
So like the more basic the light, the better it actually lights up the road ahead of you. And the number one car, unsurprisingly, once again, a brand new car, is the Tesla Model 3. It's good across the board.
Now the Tesla Model 3 is one of the highest tested vehicles at IIHS. They have a top safety pick plus for all their crash stuff. They have one of the highest roof crush levels out there. They've absolutely killed it, pardon the term, when it comes to their safety ratings. And so the headlights are part of that. So, well done, Tesla.
Yeah, and they do their models differently, so you don't have like, specific trims. So any Tesla Model 3 basically is going to have the same headlight, whether it's the performance or the long range. And you said something interesting. You said it's got really strong roof strength, right?
Yeah.
I was watching a video, and this is a hilarious video. They took a Model X, right, and they kind of shoved it up against the sand pit. And it's like, remember when we were young, we had Weebles? Remember when they...
Oh, yeah, they wobble, but they look like eggs.
Yeah, so the Tesla Model X, this is a bit of trivia, is the only vehicle where it will roll over, and because the battery pack is so low and there's such a low center of gravity, it actually roll back onto its wheels.
I would love to test that.
They tested it. It's cool.
No, I would love to test that.
Oh, you would love to test that.
Hell yeah.
With our Tesla Model X, huh?
I was thinking about that, but...
Well, you need a lot of equipment, Nathan, which we don't have. Or a lot of balls and a fat foot.
Well, yeah, okay. So let's move on to the worst cars, because we do have a top 5 here. And number 5 is, this is not that surprising, is the Dodge Charger and the Chrysler 300. And it's poor across the board. There's excessive glare on low beams. Now, here's the thing about that. This is one of the oldest vehicles on this list. Not only is
that
it ancient,
platform goes to like a Mercedes. It's
exactly.
like 12 years old now.
It's actually older than Tommy, if you think about it. So it's an ancient platform. So they need to update, obviously.
Yeah. I think they've taken that platform about as far as you can take it. 717 horsepower.
Well, yeah, didn't you just drive the wide body and do burnouts and stuff?
Yeah,
I mean, it's cool, but, headlights low.
It's probably time for a redesign. And it does have a cool headlight pattern. It's got kind of that,
Yeah, it's really
LED.
cool looking, but it needs to work better. Obviously, it's the number 5 on the worst. Number 4, and this is a surprise for me because I thought that they had, frankly, would have scored better, and that's the Honda Civic and the Acura ILX. It's the same platform, and they're poor across the board. Inadequate lighting for the Civic, excessive glare for the ILX.
And I'm really surprised because Honda is just knocking out of the ballpark with the Civic, right? There's all these different variations of it.
I am too, and I did that safety thing behind the scenes, and they're really, really serious about safety. So this is a surprise. I'm kind of hoping that Honda gets their stuff together and makes better headlights for their Civic and ILX. Number 3 on the list. I'm a little sad about this because this is one of my favorite inexpensive electric vehicles, and it's the Chevy Volt. Yep, that's right. Poor across the board, and it's because glare. And here's the crazy part. This is a brand new car.
Brand new car.
Brand new car, brand new technology.
Couple years, yeah.
And it's on an all-new platform. I mean, everything about it, there should be absolutely no reason for it to have poor headlights. And here's the thing about it. The rest of the test about this car from IIHS is quite good. In fact, they're good across the board. But headlights are an issue.
Yeah, keeps it from getting that top safety rating. And I know this is not logical, but I somehow would think that electric cars should have good headlights. I know that the two don't correlate, but you'd think.
But it's high tech and it's modern tech.
Right.
And so that's where my head would go. You'd think, brand new car, brand new platform, yeah, we're going to make those lights absolutely perfect. And they did not.
All right, number 2.
Number 2, it's kind of a shocker for me, and that's the Toyota Yaris sedan. The hatchback has not been rated. Now, the Yaris sedan, bear in mind, is the Mazda 2 sedan. So it's both Mazda and Toyota. And it's poor across the board.
Yeah, halogen lamps, no LED option. I think this is a case where you don't spend a lot, you don't get a lot of light.
Yeah, it's a shame. It is an inexpensive car, and it's quite good. It's one of my favorite inexpensive cars, but that is something to keep in mind. Maybe you can replace the lights if you buy one. Who knows?
All right, Nathan, we promised you, number 1, an entire brand with bad headlights. So
Freaked me out.
What is number 1?
All Volkswagen cars. You heard it right. All Volkswagen cars. 9. That's true. And here's the crazy part about it. Volkswagen really, truly, honestly was saying, hey, we are all about safety and technology and everything else, and we were kind of starting to drink the Kool-Aid again. They've had some other issues in the past, but here we go. The Golf. poor. The Jetta, the SEL trims are marginal, others are poor. The Arteon, poor. The Passat, poor. It doesn't make any sense to me.
You know what especially doesn't make sense? And I think I know a reason for this.
Okay.
I think the reason it doesn't make sense is because remember back in the day when like Ferrari drivers, definitely a first world problem, were complaining that they would outdrive their headlights on the Autobahn?
Yeah.
Well, this is a German manufacturer. Like a Golf R could potentially outdrive its headlights on the Autobahn, right? That car could do 155 miles an hour. When you're speeding down the Autobahn that fast, you want to illuminate, way ahead of you, not just whatever the poor rating is. That's why I'm surprised, but my theory for why they're poor is because they have a very consistent front fascia, right?
Yeah.
And so
very narrow.
Right. There's a family resemblance to all of them. And so if you look at the Golf, you look at the Jetta, you look at the Passat, the Arteon, right? They're all very similar. And so maybe it has to do with design and not with like the actual lights they're using. And let's face it, once again, maybe this is a case of the test coming after the car was designed. So the next generation of cars, especially Volkswagens, is going to be mainly electric. And so I'll be curious to see how they do. Guys, let us know if you like these sorts of lists. If you notice, we've been doing kind of these safety lists because we figure as a car buyer, you're probably wanting something that is safe for you and your entire family, right? So we want to make sure you understand which are the safest and which are the not so safe cars, at least when it comes to the IIHS.
That's right. We boil it all down for you and make it into small bite-sized, easy to digest.
Is this like the McNuggets of car reviews?
It's the McNuggets of car reviews. Well, we want you guys to be informed and also get the information quickly. So we hope you enjoyed it, and let us know what you think.
Yeah, and if there's a list that we haven't done that you're looking at, let us know in the comments below, and we'll put that list together for you as well. As always, this is Roman.
And Nathan.
Saying thanks for watching, and check out tflcar.com for more news, views, and of course, worst and best headlight reviews. See you guys next time. Ciao.
See you.